Hello, nice to have you join us live from the Channels Television's global headquarters in Lagos, Nigeria. You're watching Newsroom series. I'm Dominic Iwiwu, and today our focus will be on the northwestern region. But before we get into that, let's have a snippet of our top story making the rounds at the moment. The Department of State Services has filed a 5-count charge at the Federal High Court Abuja against the presidential candidate of the African Action Congress, Omoyele Sowore. The prosecuting agency listed X Corp and Meta Incorporation as defendants. The DSS had on Monday, September 8th, handed Sowore a 1-week ultimatum to delete what it described as a false, malicious, and inciting social media post about President Bola Tinubu. The ultimatum expired on Monday without Sowore deleting the posts on President Tinubu. Also, the social media companies X Corp and Meta Incorporation, who own X and Facebook, failed to oblige a demand by the DSS to delete Showore's accounts. The charges were filed on behalf of the DSS and the Nigerian government by a director of public prosecutions at the Federal Ministry of Justice, Mr. Mohammed Abubakar, as well as other lawyers for the DSS. The Minister of State for Works, Mr. Bello Goronyo, praises President Bola Tinubu for showing strong commitments to infrastructure development in Nigeria despite the country's economic challenges. During an inspection of project sites in Kebbi and Sokoto states, the minister highlights the ongoing construction of the Sokoto-Badagry Superhighway. He says the road, which cuts across Sokoto, Kebbi, and Niger before linking Badagry in Lagos, will open new trade routes and boost business activities across West Africa.
As you know, this corridor is one of the most important corridors of this nation because it's linking to an international market, a Lela market, all the way to Birnin Kebbi, to Niger, to Kwara, to Oyo, to Ogun, and Lagos. If you look at this road network, is aimed at opening up the economic corridor, boosting socio-economic development, empowering people, generating employment, opening markets, opportunities, dams, farms, businesses, small, medium, and large scales. So the vision of Mr. President is to, rejig our infrastructure that has been there for quite a very long time, lying without giving much attention.
Communities in Batsari local government area of Katsina State are celebrating a peace deal reached with repentant bandits. The agreement is seen as a major step toward restoring calm in the region, long troubled by violent attacks. However, residents express concern that the bandits still hold dangerous weapons, citing fear of rival gangs that have not joined the peace.
This is Batsari, a local government area in Katsina State that has suffered years of violence, killings, and kidnappings. The insecurity forced many residents to flee their homes in search of safety. Now there is a new sense of relief after a peace deal between the community and repentant bandits. The agreement, reached after years of attacks, gives the bandits a chance to lay down their arms and reintegrate into society. We were attacked daily, our homes and food destroyed. We couldn't even go to town to buy food without being accused of supporting the bandits. But now, thanks to this peace deal, we can sleep with our eyes closed, access food, and farm in peace. We demand equal treatment and social justice. Our children should be enrolled in schools, just like those in town. We want government to build schools, hospitals, roads, and provide water. We want Governor Diko Rada to leave a lasting legacy in our communities. God is not happy with kidnapping and killing, which come from illiteracy and the devil's influence. We need schools, water supply, and grazing reserves to support our communities. The repentant bandits say they will now assist security agencies with their duties while keeping arms only for self-defense. Although the Katsina state government distances itself from direct negotiations, stressing that the peace deals are community-led, residents remain hopeful that this dialogue will finally bring lasting peace.
Nigeria's First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, and the Sultan of Sokoto, Saad Abubakar, say the breakdown of family values among young people is fueling insecurity and other social problems in the country. Speaking at the opening of the 2025 exercise Haske BU at the Armed Forces Command and Staff College, Jaji, Kaduna State, the First Lady, represented by the wife of the Vice President, Nana Shetima, stresses the need for families to reclaim their role as the foundation of society.
Exercise Haskebu is part of ongoing efforts by the Armed Forces Command and Staff College, Jaji, to improve multi-agency collaboration. The training focuses on building capacity and sharpening responses to internal security challenges and low-intensity conflicts. The event brings together senior officers from security agencies, media stakeholders, as well as traditional and religious leaders. The goal is to deepen collective knowledge and understanding of military operations beyond warfare.
While as a nation, we have always discussed about coming together to solve our common problems, we have never had a permanent platform to achieve that. Therefore, on the orders of the Armed Forces Command and Staff College Board, the theme for this year is the family and national security. This is in recognition of the centrality of the family in our individual and collective lives, our traditional values, our moral compass, and the belief in the divine. It is also a bid to start back at the beginning to allow us reassess the growing malaise in our society and make our way up so that we can have the country that we all want to have.
The First Lady, represented by the wife of the Vice President, Nana Shetima, emphasizes that strong families remain the foundation of national security.
Family is the bedrock of society. It is where we learn our core values of love, duty, respect, and sacrifice. Our nation is made up of millions of individual families from various tribes, ethnicities, religion, and tradition, each with dreams, aspiration, and right to live in safety and freedom.
Sultan of Sokoto, Alhaji Saad Abubakar, adds that family values play a vital role in securing Nigeria and building a peaceful, resilient nation.
Certainly, there are a number of challenges today that we need to consider, and this is the impact on information technology.
For the host governor, Senator Obasani, represented by his deputy, Dr. Hadiza Balarabi, investments in education and socio-economic inclusion are critical to addressing insecurity.
Security is not only a federal mandate, it is also a state responsibility. That is why our administration has made security a key pillar in the pursuit of peace and development. We recognize that without adequate security, there can be no sustainable development, and without collaboration, there can be no security.
Investments in education and socio-economic inclusion are critical to addressing insecurity. Exercise Haske-Bu is not just a training exercise. It serves as a national problem-solving platform, using a whole-of-society approach to gathering ideas and providing a blueprint for strengthening Nigeria's security.
Armed bandits have abducted about 40 worshippers from a mosque in Gidan Torbe village, Safi local government area of Zamfara state. The attack happened early Monday morning around 5:30 a.m. during dawn prayers when gunmen surrounded the mosque and took the worshippers away. Locals say the victims were moved into the forest near the Gohori axis of Safi. In a separate incident, bandits invaded Dogondaji village, also in Safi local government area, where they killed the village head. Residents explained that their assailants tried to abduct him, but he resisted, leading to his death. Efforts to get confirmation from the Zamfara Police Command have been unsuccessful, as the Public Relations Officer, DSP Yazid Abubakar, hasn't responded to calls at the time of filing this report. Meanwhile, the Zamfara State Police Command has recovered 4 AK-47 rifles, 228 rounds of live ammunition, and 4 magazines during a routine patrol. The operation was carried out on September 15, 2025 by operatives of the anti-kidnapping unit led by ASP Biliyamin Koko along the Gumi-Sokoto Road. Police intercepted a Toyota Corolla vehicle at Gambanda Gombe village in Gumi local government area, while a search revealed the weapons concealed inside a bag of oranges belonging to a passenger, Nasiru Dawan Jia, who admitted during investigation that the arms were being transported to bandits operating in Gusuru village. Zamfara's police spokesperson Yazid Abubakar says the case is under investigation while efforts are ongoing to arrest other accomplices and dismantle the network. The Commissioner of Police, CP Ibrahim A. Maikaba, reassured residents of the command's commitment to rid the state of criminal elements and protect lives and property. Governor Dauda Lawal has distributed over 408,000 teaching and learning materials to public schools in Zamfara State. The gesture is aimed at boosting education and improving learning outcomes for pupils across the state. At the flag-off ceremony, the governor explains that the materials were provided with support from UBEC and UNICEF, stressing that education remains a top priority for his administration. He commends teachers for their sacrifices and assures continued investment in the sector.
Ladies and gentlemen, each of these interventions, the materials procured by the state, the contribution of UBEC, and support of UNICEF has its own significance, but together they tell one powerful story, that Zamfara has chosen the right path, knowledge as the foundation for rebuilding. The centrality of education to our broader rescue mission cannot be overstated. Without education, health campaign will falter because people will lack the knowledge to apply them. Without education, economic opportunities in agriculture, mining, and trade will slip through our hands because the skills to size them will be absent. Without education, insecurity will persist because young people will remain vulnerable to manipulation as well as exploitation. But with education, we can transform every sector of our society. The doctor in hospital, the engineer on the construction site, the farmer adopting a method of entrepreneur building industries, and even the soldiers defending our nation all draw their strength from the lesson learned in the classrooms.
You're watching Newsroom series live on Channels Television. Still ahead, more stories from the Northwest. Stay with us. Story 10. Welcome back. The Kano State government, the Nigerian Education Loan Fund, NEL Fund, has disbursed over 100 billion naira to more than 500,000 students across 230 institutions in Nigeria. The Director of Monitoring and Evaluation at NEL Fund, Aliyu Muhammad, made this known during the Renewed Hope student engagement held at the Federal University Birnin Kebbi. The event was organized by the Office of the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Student Matters.
This is the third student engagement series organized by the Office of the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Student Matters. The forum enlightens Nigerian students about new initiatives introduced by the Tinubu administration to support education and student welfare.
from Federal Ministry of Education.
The Senior Special Assistant to the President on Student Matters, Sunday Adedayo, explains that the engagement is taking place across different regions.
Few students have been the one tapping the opportunity. So I discovered there is a lower turnout, a lower awareness of all these initiatives. So the program, the main aims of the program is to sensitize and to raise the consciousness of the student towards the initiative of the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
Director of Monitoring and Evaluation at NEL Fund, Aliyu Muhammad, reveals that more than 2 billion naira has been disbursed to 15,000 students in Kebbi State, covering both tuition and upkeep allowances.
Kebbi State has been on board from inception at the Nigeria Education Loan Fund, but as I'm talking to you now, we have like 5 institutions in Kebbi, both state and federal-owned institutions that have benefited from the program, with Kebbi State University of Science and Technology, Aliro, having the largest number, and Kebbi State College of Nursing having the lowest number. Out of the 5 institutions, I think we've disbursed like 15,000 to 15,000 beneficiaries to the tune of almost 2 billion.
The special advisor to the Kebbi State Governor on Student Matters, Muhammad Majo, says the state government is working alongside the federal government to secure the welfare of Kebbi students both in Nigeria and abroad.
So far, in the angle of welfare in Nigeria, there has never been any office that was able to take care of the welfare of students like Kebbi State. As we speak here, as I'm standing here, we have taken care of all the local and foreign scholarship services, which is an opportunity that we only do in Kebbi State, not in any other state. Yeah. So scholarships opportunities, entrepreneurship opportunities, as well as career guidance and counseling for young people in Kebbi State are all being put in place to take care that academic excellence of Kebbi State is being fully covered.
The engagement ends with a leadership training session for members of the Students' Union Government and the Student Representative Assembly.
Kano, Nigeria's most populous state in the northern region, has an estimated housing deficit of about 2 million, according to the state's government. However, there's been a surge in demand for habitable accommodation in the ancient city following rising urbanization. In this special report, our correspondent Abubakar Salihu looks at the housing deficit in Kano State.
According to the Federal Ministry of Housing, Nigeria's deficit in decent and affordable housing is estimated to be between 17 and 28 million units. A World Bank report states that Nigeria will need to construct around 700,000 housing units annually for the next 20 years to meet the needs of its growing population, requiring an estimated investment of 59 trillion naira. Kano, with an estimated population of about 15 million people, has a housing deficit of about 2 million units. Settlements like this have served as shelter for some residents who cannot afford decent accommodations. This is further complicated by the influx of internally displaced persons as a result of insecurity, which has led to overcrowding. Despite the poor state of accommodation, the cost of the accommodation and the level of hygiene leave little to desire.
The cost of rent now is too cost due to the building materials, high cost of building materials.
A house built 10 years ago is asking for exorbitant rent for increase in price of building materials.
Because of the economic situation, change in government and government policies, the rent has skyrocketed.
In its bid to bridge the housing deficit, the Kano state government is venturing into more housing projects.
In 2 or 3 tiers. This one for the creation of which we want to partner with Federal Mortgage Bank for the creation of affordable houses.
On the flip side, The federal government's average annual housing production is about 100,000 units, and that is according to the Federal Ministry of Housing and Urban Development. The government is exploring various options to bridge the gap.
Well, this is the renewed Hope City in Kano at Tabarakallah, and we have come for a routine visit, and we have gone around the site, and we have seen the work that is ongoing. We can confirm the quality is to the specifications that we're having.
For now, the federal government is hoping that the construction of 20,000 housing units under the renewed Hope Agenda's housing scheme will address the deficit over the years, alongside private investments in this sector. Abubakar Salihu, Channels Television News.
The United Nations Children Fund, UNICEF, is inaugurating a new oxygen plant in Kano State to strengthen healthcare delivery and save lives. The facility is expected to boost access to medical oxygen, which is critical for treating children with pneumonia and other respiratory illnesses. Speaking at the inauguration, UNICEF representative explains that the project is part of its wider efforts to support Nigeria's health system and reduce preventable deaths. The agency stresses that timely access to oxygen will help hospitals provide better emergency care and improve survival rates for children and mothers.
A delegation from the United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, is on the Kano State Government House as part of the partnership to improve healthcare delivery in the state. The delegation is received by Governor Abba Yusuf, who applauded the support of UNICEF and notes his administration's efforts to tackle the challenges in the education and health sector in the state.
This oxygen plant, as we were meant to understand, is the first of its kind in terms of size in Kano State. We must say that we remain grateful to you for this gigantic project. Since we came on board, any fulfillment of all the promises we made to the good people of Kano State, we have been working very, very tirelessly to ensure full implementation of all the policies, especially on education and the health sector.
The UNICEF delegation, including representatives from Canada, Norway, and other partners, then proceed to the Muhammadu Buhari Specialist Hospital in Nasarawa local government area of the state for the inauguration of a solar-powered oxygen plant. The plant is expected to strengthen oxygen supply and provide life-saving interventions for newborns and children with respiratory issues at the hospital.
These are all commitment in action, not only in words, so this is something very important. These resources released by the Kano state government have been used to procure life-saving supplies, so literally saving lives of many children. So that is excellent. And now that is my first visit, I really urge you for the coming year, maybe to look at increasing that, because we already showed this very high level of commitment, and any investment by the state will be doubled by the transition.
The facility is part of a nationwide initiative to provide quality healthcare, as 9 oxygen plants have been installed in 9 states.
And that's where we drop the anchor in this edition of Newsroom series. I'm Dominic Iwiwu. Enjoy the rest of your day.